Welcome to the Mentality Metaverse. We seek to move the whole self in, through, and beyond the present state of things. Join us on our mission to make a metaverse that's safe, creative, and geared to ever-evolving good. Mentality Metaverse provides AR, VR, XR, and more to benefit everyone in our present reality. Besides, why be better at games when we can be better overall? Mentality Metaverse to bring out your best.
I have surplus of emotions and I get touched very easily. So do pardon me if I do if I do sound a bit too much for the IT world. I come from the extreme opposite to your world. I'm all about emotions. and you're all about technical. So it's just it's beautiful for me to be here. I cannot express my gratitude, because when I hear that everyone is at the forefront here at the almost like the pre-designing stage, and to be able to be here to add my little voice, it'll be so amazing, because then everybody will be able to hear the well-rounded view, not just the expert from IT or from the physicians or the medical, but also from everyday person. That's what is going to make it all relatable. That's what's going to make it able to launch to the mass, that everyone can use, because that's the ideal world, isn't it? The ideal is that we launch it so that everyone is connected. And that's what I hear, right? That's what I hear from everybody, is that we want to make it accessible. We want to make it leaderless, for everybody. So therefore, it is so amazing that we're able to share everyone's view. So I want to say a deep gratitude for that. And I just feel like everyone is sharing like the deep talk. Now, shall I still share a bit of my story, or shall I just go into the metaverse? I'll go by with your guidance. Thank you for the invitation to share. So, first of all, greetings from Sydney, Australia. I'm all the way from Sydney, the place where the koalas are always eating and sleeping. To me, is the happiest place to be. And it suits my quote. My quote is, happiness is another form of wealth. It's the most treasured form of wealth. And so this is what I want everybody to bear in mind when you create something so amazing. Because, like Mahesha, it doesn't matter if there's a lot of money, right? If we're not keeping everyone's heart together, if everyone's not happy, there's no point. So I just love to share that with everybody. And my next thing is that I live this quote, that follow your heart and follow your dreams. And I just want to congratulate everybody for creating this amazing dream for the whole universe. It's just so amazing. This little poster is a project that I've been involved recently, that I've shared with Dr. Bharat literally just this morning. I've been invited to be featured as one of the special guests in this documentary, and it has won 11 laurels. So it's just so amazing. And I just want to congratulate everybody who wants to do good work for the world. This is to protect the children's on the cyberspace. So it's so relevant to this forum. And that's why I just want to share that. And when I heard Clayton said that exposure is what gives access and opportunity, that's what encourages me to share my story. And and it really speak to that. In a minute, I'll show you why and how. So in this little time that I have with you, I just like to share with you my background story and a little touch of my view on education, on connection and happiness, and setting an example of self-leadership on the metaverse. So thank you for this opportunity. So now I'm about to share with you the world's most embarrassing photo, okay? So please forgive me, but you can laugh with me though, not at me. So here we go. This is little Linda. Little Linda was born at the end of the Vietnam War. So I literally grew up in a black and white world. I've never seen color TV, never seen color photos. That's how I grew up. And I did not even know what a computer looked like. So for sure, I had no internet. I had no social media. And at the age of 15, I suddenly was teleported here in Sydney without a word of English. So I'm so grateful to be here to share with you my journey from like a dinosaur age, my kids say it, from a place where I didn't even have color TV, right? To color TV, to computer, to internet, to social media, and Zoom. Recently, I've been using Zoom. I thought I was really good. And now we're going on to Metaverse. So I literally have gone through this whole journey of evolution in a sense, in terms of technology. So I want to say thank you for letting me share. And so it's been really, really amazing. So being born at the end of the Vietnam War, I had minimal education, minimal resources. And being the second last of 10 kids, I literally have, yes, that's right, Dr. J. I literally didn't have much, right? It was always hand-me-downs, yeah? And as a little girl, all I wanted, like any girl, is a beautiful dress. And that little seed planted in my head had resulted that I became a wedding dress designer in Sydney in 2001 and had my own little boutique. And I also was featured on one of the Sydney TV channels, Channel 9. Then, as you know, I grew up with black and white TV, right? I never seen color photos. At the age of 7, it was the first time I seen color photo. It was the first time I seen someone with blonde hair and blue eyes. I was like, what on earth is this? What is this world? So literally every day I daydream about the world. What's America like? What's Australia like? Because I didn't even have a map or globe model, right? There's no YouTube, no Facebook. So that had planted another seed in my head. And eventually I traveled the world. I've been to Alaska 23 years ago. And then at the age of 10, at grade 3, I was inspired by a teacher. Because as a little girl, I think many of you would relate to this. My kinder teacher holds a cane. And I got so scared I didn't learn anything. So by grade 3, I met a nice teacher, and that inspired me to help others to learn as well. So I've been in different kinds of settings for facilitation. Then when I came to Sydney at the age of 15, back then I didn't even have color pencils. The first time I seen an art gallery, I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? So that was another seed planted in my head. And eventually I did a diploma of visual arts. So that's my first participation in exhibitions. And so then I won awards. And in 2016, my self-portrait was the finalist for Women's Art Prize on the theme of equality. So I thought I should follow my dreams, every single one of my early childhood dreams. Wouldn't it be amazing if I help others as well? And so that's when I become a life coach. And so I won the local awards, and I help all kinds of people, coaches, associate professors, because I was always helping people all my life. It was just a matter of time that I would do that. But all the way along, this huge challenge, I was always told your English is terrible, your grammar is horrible. So what did little Linda do? Linda write a book. So in 2017, I launched a book. The book is called Connection, the Currency to Happiness. Access your happiness right here, right now. It shares all the story, all about how to make things work when things don't work. And part of the proceeds of the book donated to the charity, School for Life Foundation, where they build schools for children in Uganda. And I have amazing readers share stories. This is Christine, who was in depression for 10 years. It was by chance that she picked up my book. And she was able to reconnect with herself, connect with other people, and now rebuild herself as a trauma coach. And I have this amazing teacher who wanted to publish her book, but she didn't have the confidence. But after reading my book, hearing my story, when I came to Australia with a word of English, and I did it, it gave her the confidence, and she said, now publish 3 books and become the poet as well. And I was also nominated to be amongst the top authors in a magazine. And it's my story that turned me into a speaker. I was really shy by nature. I barely talked when I was little. So I go to schools. This is in San Diego in 2017 with people from 32 countries, about 400 people, all social entrepreneurs. So I get invited as panelists to different conferences and interviews. And as an extension of the book, I have built 3 hearts, created 3 hearts, with the vision and mission to create a more connected society. And this is where I would love for it to be on Metaverse, to have rooms in Metaverse for everybody to connect. So Linda's mission in life is to be known for inspiring others to become more than what they thought they could be, and to help them attain the ultimate happiness, because happiness is another form of wealth. And I just would love to show you what Barbara say. Let me just quickly share the sound, okay? I'll just share it again.
Three Hearts has challenged me to think and be more than I thought I was.
So that's Barbara. Barbara is actually a glass artist and a teacher. She's 76 years old. She said all her life, you can tell her what to do, what to achieve, and she'll achieve it. But never once she learned about herself. At Three Hearts, give her the chance to do that. And so Three Hearts has created many amazing heartwarming stories. And as I go about life, I saw this quote from Tony Robbins, and this is what Metaverse is about too, right? We all creating, we all giving back. And so I just like to reiterate what Mahesh said earlier, that, you know, it doesn't matter if we just earn money, right? Connection is what keeps us alive. So what would be amazing is that on Metaverse, we would have rooms for people to connect, and not just to play games, not just for trading, not just for business, but with rooms for people to literally connect as if we're in person. Because when I first launched Three Hearts, it was supposed to be in-person connection. But when COVID hits, we brought it on Zoom. And now we can go to the next level, go to Metaverse. Because to the Three Hearts attendees, for Henry Cameron, who is also a non-profit Three Hearts, a non-profit founder himself, he said Three Hearts is like an island of peace. And it's creative, it's fun, it's therapeutic, it's sacred space. It's a quality connection, and that it's different that he couldn't find anywhere else in the world. And I just thought, wouldn't it be amazing if we can create that on Metaverse? Anyone around the world can go and connect anytime they want, at their convenience, at their time and space. And so this is Professor Leif. He's the world-renowned professor, the first professor on intellectual capital. And he also really support Three Hearts, and he became Three Hearts advisor. So my question is that, you know, since in the Metaverse, it's not exactly the real world, do people then get confused between the two worlds? How do we create it so that they can transition and still maintain that identity and not lose the identity, not having to have dual identity? Like the last speaker, Mahesh, said that, you know, when he's in the Metaverse world, he could be a mayor, but then in real life, you might not be. How do we address that so that we have the authenticity, you know, to carry through, that we are the same person, so that we can maintain that human authenticity, so that we can still relate with each other with the same ID and not switching and be a completely different person? Because otherwise we will cause chaos in a lot of people's mind. Like, who are you? Which person are you? So that would be something that I would really, really love to follow, to learn more, to continue to, yeah, that would be something it's very important to me and to a lot of people, I would imagine, is that carrying the same identity inside metaverse to the reality. And what if we was to use it to do teaching things like hand embroidery, a craft that is lost these days, right? So that the kids know, or anybody adults know that, the computer isn't just for the computer games, but we could extend it to art and craft, because that's where we can maintain and elicit human connections. So far, the hand, the bionic hand can do the movement, right? You can do the touch, but the next level then is the feel, the actual connection feeling, from person to person feeling. And so with the connection room and the embroidery, handcraft, things like that. How about for the seniors in the nursing home? Because I attend to the seniors in the nursing home sometimes, and sometimes you have palliative care, right? And those people can't go home. What if we were able to create the environment to replicate their home so that they can spend the last days of their life in their own environment? That would be amazing. Because especially during COVID, a lot of seniors can't go home, and a lot of people, a lot of their relatives can't visit them. So how do we use metaverse so that we can connect them as if they were in person? So especially like the last few days of their life, if we could replicate the environment like they at home, so that they can pass away in the last few hours in their own home. That would be something, I think it would be so amazing. Yeah, so that's what I have so far. And I think the main thing is that when I saw the little girl play the balloon and can see herself inside, that's another way that they can reconnect with themselves. And when we stay connected with themselves, that's most important, so that you don't lose your identity altogether in the metaverse. So yeah, that's it for me. If anybody has any questions, let me know.
Linda, that is a master class. We are impressed with your insight and your happiness and your drive. Like you just said, Linda, go and do things, right? You are a doer. You just go and do it. We feel the platform for you and the future is in the metaverse, because now you can shape 8 billion people's lives through the metaverse, and the feeling and the happiness, I think, is a joy and a delight to listen to. And I would yield to Dr. J to talk about what you have said, and kind of want to have a conversation with you. And we are so delighted that you came today and opened up the doors of happiness in the metaverse for all of us. And I thank you so much for that.
So Linda, thank you for being here. You speak to the heart of many of the things that I impact, and it all starts. A lot of the things that shape who we are in life starts as a child. So one reflection that I made is that are you the youngest of 10 children?
Second youngest. Second youngest.
So there was a whole lot of love going on.
Yes. I have all the bigger brothers and sisters protecting me. So that's beautiful. Yes. That's why my whole first many years of childhood, I didn't need to speak much. So I was really shy, really, it's completely different world. So I just thought it's good for the viewers to hear from.
Continue.
Sorry, we have a bit of crossovers.
I'm sorry, continue.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
You had a lot to take from, which enabled you to have a community that was very, very supportive, regardless of the other things that might not have been there, black, color TV and things of the sort. So this is a level of compensation that was made for you to be who you are today. And it shows in how happy you are and how engaging you are with people, because you engage with 9 other siblings from a young age, and you continue to engage now as you go on. And that little child that we saw, she wanted to be happy. Now you're sharing that happiness with everybody. Yes.
Yes, and I want to reiterate that we are our stories. Our stories make us who we are, and so I want to be able to carry that through Metaverse. Yes. To transition into Metaverse. And how do we make it so that it's authentic, continue all the way through, so that anybody who uses it, not just children, but even adults, don't get so confused that, I'm one world here and one world there, and mixing the identity and losing their identity, because it's so important, because our identity is what makes us who we are. Sure. And to me, that's so important. Sure. That is so, so important. It's like when you create a robot, you even give the robot a name, right? Yes. That the robot develop personalities, same as a pet, right? Even any pet, they have their name, they have their personality. Sure. We need to keep our uniqueness. Yeah. We need to keep our uniqueness wherever we are, whatever we do. And sure. That's what's gonna keep us all, the human race, as what we are. Because that's what we are, is that as a human, we all have our own uniqueness and our own talents and identity. Exactly. And so that's my main message that I want to share today.
Oh, no, I underscore that, because wherever we go, we take us with us. Yes, we can never be anybody else, regardless of how we attempt to put forth a representative. And I think Mentality Metaverse provides this type of primer for the metaverse to have individuals mentally prepared. So when the technology and the hardware of a full metaverse comes into play, then just like we reach a certain age of maturity and we go to college or whatever, we're ready to embark upon the metaverse with a presence of mind, mentality, and direction, and that is firmly planted on solid foundation. And absolutely, that is exactly what you're saying. Take yourself where, don't be someone else here or someone else there.
And I feel that education is the way to begin to launch it to the public. Yes. We need to educate people before it's ready even. And this is exactly why I'm passionate to be here, right? We need to educate people so that everyone use it to serve us. Yes. Use it for its design good, to serve us, to up-level humanity, and not in the opposite way that could destruct us.
That you lose yourself within it.
Exactly. So education will be the beginning, right? And that's exactly what we're doing now. And so I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be here. And so I really,
Australia. My God, we love it.
Browse. So I really think, for me personally, I'm passionate to launch it into education and senior care.
Yes.
Senior care, because otherwise you will have the disconnectedness. You have the disconnected from people the young people or the IT people or the professional who use it, but not the seniors or the education. Because a lot of teachers already have enough troubles to keep up with keep up with that technology. Sure. And so therefore, if we don't consider them early, we will have the disconnectedness. Exactly. We will leave these two groups out. And so this is the two groups that I like to remind everybody.
Education must be seamless for both the learner and the teacher. And the seniors are the fastest growing group in the world. So they can't be neglected, the seniors, at all. Yeah, and I think that you chose wisely with those two items.
And also, what is interesting is the journey of fashion, design, art, and craft and writing a book. All these could be brought together in a platform where you have your own ecosystem inside of the metaverse, where you can connect every one of these. You have a community that does crafting, a fundraiser,
Yes.
an event, and you just let it go, and you have a Linda digital twin in the metaverse
That was exactly
for you. And
that was
know,
exactly
YouTube is a digital twin. If we recorded your speech yesterday, replayed it today, it would be very similar. The interaction, what we're having after your talk, that's going to be the one. But right before that, everything you did, you're probably doing this over and over. So if there is a way, and this is where real, virtual, and artificial comes into place. With the advent of artificial intelligence, a system can learn your mannerism, learn your style, learn, then it can interact with other real people in the metaverse. And so we are going to see virtual actors. So when you do these documentaries, you're going to see like voice dubbing. See, the film has already done a lot of this metaverse in the past. In different permutations. They put an actor, but the story writer is somebody else, right? And they have all these narrative. Now we're just kind of bringing everything into that one real thing, right? That truth. If you ask me, the metaverse is a case in point about truth. How to bring that authenticity, that's a beautiful word, and bringing that truth to the metaverse. And that's a very important part of the authenticity, is what is fake, what is real, whose perspective it is, what is your narrative. And there was a speaker yesterday, we'll share that with you, who talked about filmmaking in the metaverse. And it was very interesting. And now that you're going to be in one of those documentaries, we look forward to you incorporating metaverse in your life. And I think it'll just make everybody else very happy. Any questions for us from your perspective? Because you have so many different angles. And go ahead.
So my two area that I would really love to be able to launch onto metaverse, not with my capacity because I'm not from IT, with all of your help. One of it is embroidery. I teach hand embroidery at school to teach self-leadership. I just want to show you this picture, how engaged the children are. Let me see. Can you see this? Can you see this photo on the right-hand side bottom?
Go ahead.
I blocked their faces to protect their ID, but they were so engaged, right? And when people say, oh, embroidery is only for girls, you know, boys are not interested, it was so not true. The boys could not wait to start. The boys could not wait to start because it's something different, it's something exciting, because I made it exciting. But what it is that embroidery is more than what meets the eyes. It trains your personality, it trains your character, patience, persistence, grit, you know, pride, self-respect. So I use hand embroidery to teach self-leadership. And so this is the area that I'm passionate. The beginning stage of life and the end of life is where my passions are. Why? Because in between you can look after yourself. The beginning stage is where they need help. I began as a parenting coach, and I have expanded now I'm an executive coach. And end of stage of life, you also need help, right? So I volunteer all places, wherever they need me. I used to, not now because I'm a little bit more busy. But you know, what if we have rooms for meditation, right? Instead, so that people don't get too busy in the metaverse, they get too excited, they forget, right? So what if we have meditation rooms? We have hand embroidery rooms. We have art and craft, because I know that in the senior home, the carers are too busy to do activities with the seniors, right? This will provide happiness for them. I literally physically go to different centers to actually do it with them. Wouldn't it be amazing if I could do this worldwide with everybody? Because I can't clone Linda, but I can do it in that way.
Exactly. Just to show us you're with us from Australia right now.
Yeah, and so this is Three Hearts. Three Hearts also created really heartwarming stories. during COVID, the last 2 years, when COVID hits, you know how bad people need connection. And that's what we do. I created a platform with ambassadors around the world to help co-host the meetings. And literally we connect one heart at a time. And people has been so like, I could not even describe. I mean, it's not the mass number. It has never been the quantity that I focus, it's always the quality. But having said that, we do need the capacity in order to cater for all.
Yes.
And so that's why I'm passionate to share these. Thank
you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting that you brought craft. So we had surgery, surgeons.
Yes,
and
right.
you know, if you think about it, what Mahesh said was gaming and health. And
yes,
craft.
That's right.
Craft is somewhere in between gaming and health, because you need the precision of a surgeon when you do some of these craft work.
Yeah.
And remember the balloon that my daughter was holding, and there was a horse on top of it. I would like to show you one more quick application that you may be able to think of a better way to do this. Let me show you real quick. And I want to also ask you about the pop culture of how episodes in Netflix, such as the Squid Games or some new culture, is being introduced to 5-6 billion people just like that. And then from that, there's applications coming out. They make a game in the episode, and then the people make a real game in the real world, and the virtual game online. So there's a reverse from TV outward. And as Dr. J would tell you, one of her goals in the metaverse, I'll let Dr. J say, is take it out of the metaverse. Go ahead. How would you say that, Dr. J?
And not to be immersed and by extension consumed by the metaverse, but have it as something that is as utilitarian as your refrigerator. Go in, take what you need, and bring it back to the real world. And use it, then put it back in a safe place for further use at a future time.
And that is important, because if you think about it, we want to learn from the metaverse, create in the metaverse, and take it out in the real world. There has to be that taking out the internet in, that coming out. And the craft and arts you mentioned, and how that could relate to surgical procedures, makes a lot of sense. Art and craft can refine the tools that we need further into the other. So let me show you this real quick.
And while you're loading that up, I'd just like to add that we want the children, in terms of teaching, we want them to, well, at this point in time, this is what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking out loud, sharing my thoughts with you. I thought if they could see it as a classroom that they attend, then therefore it'd be easier for them to transition their mind back to reality and not get so confused. At least that's for the children, for the students anyway. And same as for the seniors, you know, that they are doing a special activity and not being confused with the reality. And in terms of my black and white photos, that could really be another way that we bridge the generation gap.
Exactly.
Yes.
For me to be able to tell them old time stories, you know how we know a lot of people now forget the old values, the old way of life, which has a lot of wisdom.
Sure.
So that can bridge the generation gap.
Be a bridge, definitely.
Yeah. So there's a lot. There's a lot of thoughts. Yeah. Sorry, you go.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I do have a lot of thoughts behind it, but I didn't want to take too much time, and there's a lot more I can add and share as time goes on.
Okay, great.
We can bridge cultural gap, generation gap, and technology gap, and educational gap, all of that. Yes.
Exactly.
Great, and I think your next book is in line, Linda. So Linda is going to write a book on the metaverse. Okay. So,
from a non-tech view, how perfect is that? Metaverse from a non-tech view.
but you
truly,
understand it.
Yeah, when the doctors say that you can do operations, imagine this. Imagine I'm the patient, and suddenly you're telling me about all these technology. I will get frightened. I'll be like, whoa, I don't know if I want to enter that room, right? But if we were able to articulate it in daily language and make it a daily thing, like I have seniors during pandemic, over 70 years old, learning how to use Zoom because we make it a thing. We make it a thing. And so therefore there was no age gap. Anybody would use Zoom. And that's how I see metaverse. If we could make it that way, if we could make it, it's an everyday thing for everybody, then we have much more success. Then we have no technology divide. Otherwise, we will have technology divide.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So,
Pleasure.
Linda, what we're thinking is in your craft, like you said, you want to do art and craft in the metaverse.
Yes.
So here is an example of the Squid Game episode in Netflix. From looking at the Squid Game, this is an example of how you would have a cookie that's inside of your computer, right?
Yes.
And a person in a webcam is going to go ahead and use their finger to draw. You see how you can see their hand.
Yes, yes, yes.
And look how they're trying to, in the Squid Game, this was an exercise that one had to cut out the star without breaking that cookie. So here, this game is similar to that, where you have to trace the lines without shaking. If you do it, you lose the game.
Yes.
So now you're seeing precision crafting and training, and maybe this is just the very beginning, right? This is like 0.1 of 1, right? It's such a very beginning, but you can see how you can make this three-dimensional, multi-dimensional, more audience using it. So it becomes a very, see, it cracked, and then the player lost. So from a technological perspective, the gap between gaming and health is art and craft. That's a beautiful layer in the metaverse. And then again, culture and elders and using it every day. Those are all very important for a wider adoption in the metaverse.
Absolutely. Yeah. Otherwise, you definitely have the technology divide that, it's only for the expert. It's only for so-and-so, and it's not for me. And people can't be bothered looking at it, or they get overwhelmed and they'll get shy away. They go, no, it's not for me. Right. And so, so that's why I thought it's really important that we make it as non-industry jargon, so-called, as possible, to explain it in everyday language, so that everyone feels more easy to adapt.
And you are in the metaverse. Your background is in the metaverse. It's not what it is, right? It's different, but it enhances the experience. So this is metaverse 0.0001, but
yes.
Linda, thank you so much for being with us today and giving us of your time and allowing us to get a little bit of Australia, because I see that it wears well with you and your happiness. If you feel good, you're sharing that good feeling with everybody else. And you've done that here. And we thank you for that.